Word count. Approximately 1200 style. Third person clean and simple English. The twin moons of Thalira rose slowly over the silver forests, casting a soft glow across the land. It had once been a peaceful world, known for its floating cities and singing crystals. Now, it was filled with fear and silence. High Priestess Luma stood inside the great beacon tower. Her hands trembled as she placed the glowing crystal into the core of the ancient device. The beacon had not been used for over 1,000 years. It was a last resort signal, meant to reach across galaxies in search of help. No Thalarian had ever dared to use it before. Outside, sky burned with green fire as the Zarkith swarm descended like a storm. "They are coming closer," said Aaron, a young Thalarian guard. His armor was cracked, and his face was pale. Luma nodded. "Then we must send the signal now." With a deep breath, she placed her palm on the beacon's control plate. A pulse of light spread from the tower, rising into the sky like a star being born. The signal stretched across systems, moving faster than light. It carried one message. "To any who hear us, Thalira is falling. We beg for help. Our people are dying, please. Someone answer." Far away in the Sol system, Earth's United Terran fleet was orbiting Jupiter for training. Massive warships floated in formations, sleek, black, and deadly. They were called Earth's deadliest fleet, not just for their power, but for their perfect unity. Each ship was controlled by both humans and advanced AI. Every move was calculated. Every second mattered. Inside the command ship ISV Titanus, Admiral Nathan Drake stood on the bridge, had silver hair, sharp eyes, and a calm voice that made "Even new cadets feel safe in chaos, sir," said the communications officer. "We've received something strange. A galactic distress call." Drake turned. "Source. It's from a planet named Thalira. Unknown species. They're under attack by something called the Zarkith Swarm." A deep silence fell over the bridge. The name was not new. The Zarkith had attacked outer colonies before, never negotiated, never stopped. They consumed everything. Planets, cities, life. Most species ran from them. Drake walked to the center display. A 3D map appeared, showing the Thalira system. The planet blinked red. "Has the Galactic Council responded?" "No, sir," the officer replied. "Ignored it again." Drake narrowed his eyes. "Cowards." He tapped the command panel. "All captains, prepare for fleet movement. Set course for Thalira." On Thalira, the situation grew worse. Zerketh ships filled the sky. Giant black ovals with long tentacles descended onto cities, drilling into the ground. From these ships, thousands of insect-like creatures poured out. They moved in packs, destroying everything in their path. The Thalirian Defense Force fought bravely, but their weapons were too weak. Their energy rifles barely slowed the creatures down. High Priestess Luma watched from a temple tower as her people ran. The capital city Virilon was burning. The floating crystals shattered in the air. Temples fell. Children cried. Suddenly the sky changed. A rift of white light opened in orbit, followed by a low hum that made the ground shake. From the rift, massive dark ships appeared, moving like sharks in water. The humans had arrived. Drake stood tall. On the bridge of Titanus, the fleet had jumped through hyperspace, in perfect formation. "Status," he asked. "Orbit secured. Enemy vessels detected Zarkith type. Count, 1,200 and rising." Drake smiled slightly. "Good, let's show them what Earth can do." Across the fleet, weapons activated, railguns charged, plasma cannons locked on fire. A wave of blue and red light burst from the ships. The first line of Zarkith ships exploded instantly, ripped apart by kinetic blasts. The rest turned to attack, but Earth's ships were faster, smarter. Eye-guided missiles dodged enemy fire and struck with deadly force. In just 20 minutes, over half the Zarkith fleet was destroyed. On the surface, Thalarians watched in shock. As the black clouds in the sky burned away, for the first time in days, they saw the sun again. Dropships from Earth began to descend. They were armored, fast, and packed with soldiers. The rear hatch of one ship opened, and Commander Arya Ward stepped out. She wore dark exo-armor, glowing at the joints, and held a rifle as long as her arm. Her helmet scanned the area, highlighting Zarkith's signatures. Team Alpha, move. Secure the temple. Protect civilians. Human soldiers spread out. Their steps were heavy, but their aim was perfect. Energy bolts fired from their rifles, blasting Zarketh drones into pieces. Thalarian civilians screamed at first, then stared in awe. The humans didn't run from the swarm. They hunted it. In the beacon tower, Aaron turned to Luma. They came. The humans answered. Luma's eyes filled with tears. I prayed someone would, but I did not expect warriors like these. Commander Arya moved quickly through the ruined temple, clearing the halls. Zarketh beasts leapt at her, but she dropped them with precise shots. Suddenly, her comlink buzzed. Commander Orbital Scan detected a large energy reading beneath the capital. Arya frowned. Hive Queen, possible, is preparing deep. Scan, she turned to her squad. Looks like we're not done yet. On Titanus, Admiral Drake listened to the reports. Ground secured in 3 major zones. Thalarian survivors found. Estimated 10,000 still alive. And the Zarkith, Queen, located beneath the city. Burrowing deep, Drake stared at the screen. He had seen this before. If they allowed the Queen to hatch more, the swarm would rise again stronger. Faster, he gave the order. Prepare deep assault units. The Queen dies before she lays another. Ag High Priestess Luma stood among the ruins of her temple as human medics treated the wounded. Her hands glowed as she helped heal a child's wound with ancient energy. A soldier walked up. Priestess Luma, Admiral Drake would like to speak with you. She turned slowly. He is the leader of your people. One of them, the soldier smiled, but probably the deadliest. Word count. Approximately 1,200 style. Third-person clean and simple English smoke still rose from the broken towers of Viralon. But the sounds of screaming were slowly fading. Instead, new sounds filled the orators shouted in English, the hum of medical, drones, and the steady footsteps of armored soldiers. The humans had arrived, and they were not just helping, they were winning. High Priestess Luma stood on a platform beside Commander Arya Ward. From this height, she could see the Earth soldiers moving through the city. Their black armor reflected the morning sun. Their rifles gleamed with blue energy. Every squad moved with discipline and calm focus. These soldiers, Luma said softly. They fear nothing, Arya replied, her voice firm but respectful. We've seen worse. In orbit, Admiral Nathan Drake stood on the command deck of the ISV Titanus, watching a hologram of the planet below.
Red dots marked the remaining Zarketh swarms.
Green showed human-controlled zones.
The green was spreading fast. Status report.
He ordered. 3 sectors cleared, sir, replied his officer. Zarketh's swarm is falling back. They seem ... confused. Keep them confused. Hit hard, then hit again. Oh, no time for rest. Drake stared at the largest red zone on the map right, under the capital city. The Queen is still down there, he muttered, and she's not finished yet. On the ground, Commander Arya led her unit through the ruined streets. Civilians came out from hiding, watching the humans with wide eyes. Thalarian children peeked from behind walls, whispering about the metal warriors who fought like legends. A soldier in Arya's team, Corporal Diaz, knelt beside a group of injured. He handed out small silver boxes. Medical packs. Just press. Here, it'll seal wounds and stop infection. A Thalarian healer, wearing long robes, studied the pack curiously. This small box does so much. Diaz smiled. It's standard. Wait till you see our nanobots. Nearby, drones hovered overhead, scanning buildings for danger. One of them beeped. Commander, said the AI voice through Arya's earpiece. Zarketh. Movement detected in the western ruins. Estimated 50. Hostas. Arya nodded. Let's go. The humans didn't just defend, they hunted. As Arya's team entered the ruins, they moved like shadows. Their boots made no sound. Their helmets scanned heat signatures. They spotted the enemy before the Zarketh even knew they were close. Visual on targets, whispered a sniper. Engaging them. A rail shot flew through the air. One Zarkith. Drone exploded. Fire at will. Blue and red lights flashed in the dark streets. Zarketh claws struck stone, but human armor held firm. Arya's blade hummed as she sliced through 2 attackers in seconds. Her exosuit enhanced her strength and speed. Within minutes, the swarm was down. Area clear, Arya said. She looked at the dark tunnel ahead. It was wide and covered in strange organic materials. Are a Circuith biology. They're building something down there, she muttered. We need to go deeper. Back in orbit, Admiral Drake received a new message. The Galactic Council was finally responding. A hologram appeared. 3 alien leaders, their faces stern. Admiral Drake, said the middle figure, a tall, blue-skinned diplomat. We received your report. You've engaged the Zerk. Alone. Drake didn't blink. Correct. While the council debated, we acted. This is dangerous, said another counselor. If the Zarkith retaliate, they're all ready. Here, Drake interrupted. Thalira begged for help. No one answered. Earth did. The counselors went silent. We will discuss further actions, the blue one said. Then the hologram vanished. Drake shook his head. Too slow, as always. In the Thalirian temple ruins, Luma knelt before a broken altar. She whispered a soft prayer, her hands glowing with silver. Light. Healing energy flowed into the stone, repairing the cracks slightly. She looked up as Arya returned from the west sector. You've cleared another zone, Luma said. The people speak of your strength. Arya removed her helmet. Her face was tired, but her eyes were sharp. We're just getting started. There's a queen underground. She's allowed to hatch more. This planet is finished. Luma nodded. Then we must stop her. That night, Earth's fleet lit up the skies of Thalira. New drop pods descended carrying heavy walkers, missile platforms, and mobile shield units. Small robotic drones flew ahead, scanning every cave and tunnel. Human engineers set up defenses around civilian shelters. The humans moved with speed and purpose. They were not here to camp. They were here to end the war. Inside a command tent, Arya reviewed new scans. The tunnels beneath the capital were deep, far deeper than expected. And warm. She's growing something, Arya said. Looks like a birthing chamber, replied the tech officer. Big one. Maybe 2 queens. Arya tapped her cum. Admiral, we'll need more than rifles. We need heavy fire. Up in orbit, Admiral Drake smiled. You'll have it. I'm sending in hammer units. Earth's hammer units were walking tanks massive, armored, and armed with high-impact plasma weapons. They could break through anything, even Zarkaf's bone hives. 2 giant pods dropped through the atmosphere. As they landed, the ground shook. The Thalarians watched in awe as the hammers deployed. They were 3 stories tall, walked on metal legs, and had twin plasma cannons mounted on their shoulders. Children pointed. Is that a building ... or a machine? It's both. Someone whispered. The next morning, the final assault began. Commander. Arya led the charge, backed by hammer units and drone swarms. The tunnel entrances were blasted open. Human soldiers moved in waves, clearing every level of the hive. The Zarkith fought harder than ever. Their queen screamed through the hive mind, commanding thousands of drones to defend her nest. But Earth was stronger. The first queen appeared 20 feet tall, with armored plates and glowing eyes. She roared and charged. But before she reached the front line, a plasma bolt from a hammer unit struck her. She burned with green fire and collapsed. Cheers erupted, but then, from deeper underground, a second roar echoed. Arya's voice came through the coms. The real queen's still alive, and she's angry. High above, Admiral Drake stared at the planet. Phase 1 is complete, his officer said. Drake nodded. Prepare Phase 2. We're not leaving until the last Zarkath is gone. He looked out at the stars. Earth came to help. Now, let's show them what help really means. Word count. Approximately 1200 style. Third person, clean and simple English. The sun rose slowly over Thalira, but its light could not reach the deep tunnels below the city. Darkness ruled there, thick, hot, and full of danger. was the home of the Zarkith. Swarm, and deep inside, their queen waited. Commander Arya Ward stood at the mouth of the largest tunnel. Around her, Earth soldiers prepared their gear. Plasma rifles were checked, armor plates were sealed, drones buzzed overhead mapping the path ahead. The smell of dust and rot came from the tunnel like a warning. "This is it," Arya said. "Go in. We find the Queen. We finish this war." Back on the ISV Titanus in orbit, Admiral Nathan Drake watched a live feed of the operation. The screen showed a 3D map of the tunnels as it updated in real time from drone signals. "Any movement?" he asked. "Zarkith. Signals are thick underground, sir," said the tech officer. "They're waiting." Drake frowned. "They know we're coming." The officer nodded. "Yes, sir. But they don't know how hard we'll hit. The tunnels." Arya led the first strike team, codenamed Viper. They moved slowly, lights on, their helmets cutting through the dark. The walls were alive, covered in strange black vines and eggs that pulsed with green light. "Eyes sharp," Rhea said through her cum. "Watch for movement." Suddenly, one of the eggs twitched. A small creature burst out, jumping toward a soldier. He blasted it mid-air. "They're hatching," shouted another soldier. Within seconds, the swarm attacked. Zarkith drones poured out of side tunnels, their claws clicking, their eyes glowing red. "Hold formation," Arya shouted. "Let's show them who owns this tunnel." Earth soldiers formed a tight circle. Plasma bolts lit up the tunnel like lightning. The Zarkith charged, but were cut down by perfect aim and steady fire. After a long fight, silence returned. "Status?" Arya asked. 5 injured, no deaths. We're good." She nodded. "Keep moving. The Queen's chamber is still ahead." Meanwhile, a second team, Titan Squad, followed behind with the hammer units. The giant machines had to move carefully. Each step shook the ground. Inside one hammer, pilot Mason Reed adjusted his controls. "Feels tight in here," he muttered. "Like the walls are watching us," his AI replied. "Emotional input detected. Recommending focus on mission." Mason chuckled. "Thanks for the reminder, Metalhead." Suddenly, an explosion shook the tunnel. Rocks fell. Part of the wall caved in. "Ambush," someone yelled. Zarkith warriors burst from hidden holes. These were larger, stronger, and smarter. They carried hard shell armor and acid-tipped claws. The hammers opened fire. Plasma blasts melted stone and bug alike. Human soldiers fought beside. The machines, showing no fear, Mason growled, "Let's burn these bugs." Up above, High Priestess Luma sat in a quiet chamber, praying. Around her, injured civilians rested on mats. Thalarian healers moved between them, guided by Earth's medics. She placed her hand on a child's forehead. "Be calm. The light of Thalara is still with us." A nurse approached. "Priestess, a message from the humans." Luma read the small device. Her eyes widened. "They have found the Queen's nest," she whispered. "It has begun." Deep underground, Arya's team reached a vast open space. It was the Queen's chamber. The walls were made of Zarkith bone. Eggs hung from the ceiling, in thick web-like threads. In the center, the Queen sat on a throne of living stone. She was huge, 3 times the size of a human. Her body was covered in dark plates, and her many eyes glowed green. "She sees us," Arya said. The Queen let out a terrible screech. The sound echoed through every tunnel. The hive awoke. Drones swarmed in from all directions. Zarkith crawled. From walls, dropped from above, and charged from below. Earth was ready. "Form a line," Arya commanded. Soldiers dropped shield walls. Drones released small EMP pulses that fried incoming creatures. Snipers picked off targets at a distance. Arya herself rushed forward, slicing through enemies with her energized blade. "Push to the Queen," she shouted. The hammer units arrived just in time. One of them fired twin plasma shots that hit the Queen directly. She screeched and leapt backward, crashing into the wall. "She's not dead yet," Mason said. "Let's finish this." Queen roared, and something changed. Her body cracked open, and wings burst from her back. She began to rise into the air. "She's transforming," a soldier yelled. Arya's heart pounded. "Now or never. Target everything we've got." Entire team focused fire. Rockets, plasma, railguns all aimed at the queen. She dodged once. Twice, then took a direct hit from a hammer cannon. The explosion shook the entire chamber. When the smoke cleared, the queen was on the ground, broken and still. Silence fell. Arya stood slowly. "Is it over?" Then the AI voice spoke in her helmet. New signal detected. Multiple Zarkath signatures. Not drones. Not local. Arya frowned. "What is it?" The AI paused. "Incoming, ... from outside this galaxy." On the Titanus, alarms rang. "Admiral, we're picking up strange signals. Long-range hyperspace jumps. Unknown origin." Drake turned to the map. "Reinforcements?" The officer nodded grimly. "Yes, sir. The Zarkath called for help, and it's coming fast." Drake clenched his fists. They weren't just invading Thelyra. This was only the beginning. Down below, as the soldiers helped each other out of the tunnels, Arya looked up at the sky through a crack in the ceiling. "We won this battle," she said. "But a bigger war is coming." Word count: approximately 1200 style, third-person clean and simple English in the silence that followed the Queen's death. Earth soldiers stood still. Their armor was scratched. Their weapons were hot. Their eyes were tired. Their hearts were. Strong. Commander Arya Ward wiped green blood from her armor. "Queen's down," she said through the cum. "Hive is collapsing." "Confirmed," replied Admiral Drake from orbit. "But there's no time to rest. Something's coming." From the ISV Titanus, Drake watched the star map. Red signals blinked in the distance far outside the known galaxy. They were fast. And many, too many. The officer beside him said, "Sir, Scanays confirmed these are Zerk but ... evolved. Bigger, stronger, smarter." Drake nodded slowly. "They're sending their real army now." On Thelyra, Thelyrian survivors gathered in the rebuilt temples. High Priestess Luma stood before them. The walls still held burn marks, but hope had returned. "Our home is still standing," Luma said, "because of Earth." Children clapped. Elders bowed. For the first time in weeks, the people smiled. But the joy was short. A large Earth drone flew down from the sky and stopped in front of Luma. Its speaker came alive. "Message from Commander Arya Ward," it said. Luma stepped forward. "The enemy is not finished. Reinforcements are coming. The next wave may destroy not just Thelyra, but many other worlds." She turned to the people. "Then we must help Earth stop them." In orbit, emergency lights flashed on every ship of Earth's deadliest fleet. Fighters returned. Repairs were rushed. Ammunition was restocked. In the center of the command deck, Admiral Drake stood before a black metal door. It hadn't been opened in 10 years. "Are you sure, sir?" asked the captain. "Yes," Drake said. "This is what it was built for." The door hissed open, revealing a hidden chamber filled with glowing panels and humming machines. In the middle stood a massive robot taller than a building, painted in midnight black with glowing red lines. Project Goliath. Goliath was Earth's most secret weapon. A war machine built for planetary battles. It could crush armies alone. It was never used before because Earth had never needed it. Until now. Drake walked up to the control terminal. "Begin startup sequence." The system responded, "Goliath. Online, ready for deployment." Its eyes lit up like suns. On the surface, Arya met with Luma in the city square. Around them, humans and Thelyrians worked side by side, building defenses. "We heard about the new enemy," Luma said. "Can your people stop them?" Arya nodded. "We have one more card to play. It's time the galaxy sees what Earth really hides." Suddenly, the sky opened. A giant Earth dropship appeared through a tear in the clouds. It flew slowly and carefully, carrying something enormous below it. The shape was covered in armor and fire-resistant shields. As it landed, The ground trembled. The Thalarians stared. "Is that a ship?" one asked. "No," said Arya, smiling. "That's Goliath." Goliath stood like a titan among mortals. It had 2 legs, 2 arms, and a massive energy core in its chest. Twin cannons rested on its shoulders. A glowing sword was attached to its back. Earth's engineers ran around it. "Checking systems," a soldier whispered. "I thought this thing was just a story." "Not anymore," said another. The cockpit opened. New pilot stepped out, Major Raven Black, one of Earth's finest mech pilots. He nodded at Arya. "Ready when you are?" Hours later, the fleet moved. Earth's ships rose from orbit. Goliath was locked into its own carrier, ready for launch. Thalarian ships followed behind small, but determined inside the tightness. Drake gave the order. "Set course for the outer rim. That's where the Zarkith are gathering." A path appeared on the map, a dark sector filled with abandoned stars and ancient warnings. No ship had gone there in centuries. "We'll go," Drake said, "'cause no one else will." As the fleet jumped into hyperspace, tension grew. In her quarters, Arya looked at a small picture Earth, blue and beautiful. "I won't let them take you," she whispered. The journey was short but heavy. The deeper the fleet traveled, the darker space became. Stars faded, light bent. Even the A's grew quiet. Then they arrived. A massive black swarm blocked the path. Zarkith ships filled the system, thousands of them, maybe more, one bigger than before. Their queen was dead, but the swarm mind still lived. "They're waiting for us," Drake said calmly. "Let's not keep them waiting." The first battle began in space. Earth's ships moved like blades. Fighters danced between enemy vessels. Plasma beams cut through Zarkith hulls. Missiles exploded in colorful fire. But the Zarkith were smarter now. They adapted fast. Some ships dodged perfectly. Others fired new weapons-assisted bursts, mind pulses. Even gravity bombs, 2 Earth cruisers were hit hard. "Damage on the ISV Hammerfall," shouted a voice. "Medical teams inbound." Drake knew they couldn't hold forever. "Deploy Goliath." Carrier doors opened. Goliath dropped like a comet. It hit the surface of a small moon with a thunderous boom. Dust flew everywhere. The swarm waited, but Goliath didn't. It moved fast, faster than anything that size should. A giant Zarkith warbeast rushed forward. Goliath punched it once. The creature exploded. Raven activated the shoulder cannons. Red plasma beams tore through enemy lines. Then the sword came out, a long glowing blade that sliced through 10 enemies in one swing. The Thalarian ships watched in awe from orbit. "That machine, ... it fights like a god," whispered Luma. Commander Arya landed nearby with a ground team. She joined Goliath on the battlefield, leading troops against the largest swarm ever seen. Explosions rocked the moon. Clouds rose like mountains. But the humans never stopped. Even when a second Zarkith queen appeared bigger than the first, Earth stood firm. "She's mine," said Raven. Goliath charged. From orbit, Admiral Drake watched as the enemy lines began to break. They didn't. "Expect Goliath," he said. Now they know. Still, one question remained. "Sir," said the officer, "should we inform the Galactic Council?" Drake shook his head. "No, not yet. Let them sleep while we fight. When we win, they'll come." Begging. Word count. Approximately 1200 style. Third person, clean and simple English. The battlefield was silent for a moment. Thick black smoke covered the sky above the small moon. Fires burned across the rocky ground. Zarkith bodies lay in pieces. But it was not over. Inside the giant war machine Goliath, Major Raven Black scanned the horizon. His eyes narrowed as he saw something huge moving in the distance, slow, powerful, and alive. "The final queen is coming," Raven said. A deep rumble echoed across the land. In orbit above the moon, Admiral Nathan Drake stood on the bridge of the ISV Titanus. His face was serious. The enemy was not retreating. They were preparing for one last fight. "Report," Drake said. "Massive Zarkith queen detected," replied the sensor officer. bigger than the last. Her energy levels are off the charts. Drake nodded. And she's their true leader. ... The swarm mind.
Ow.
He opened a come line to Goliath. Raven, this is it. You are cleared to use full power. No limits. Raven's voice came back calm and steady. Understood, sir. For Earth. For Thalira. Commander Arya Ward and her team stood beside their support vehicles near the battlefield. They watched the land shake under their boots. Soldiers around her checked their weapons one more time. Some were afraid, but none were ready to run. Arya looked at the sky. Hold the line. We don't fall here. Then the queen appeared. She rose from the ground like a mountain made of black armor and fire. Her wings spread wide. Her body pulsed. With green energy, hundreds of Zarketh drones crawled. Beside her, like loyal guards, she screamed. The sound made the ground crack. Raven activated Goliath's systems. The giant robot's red eyes glowed brighter. Weapons charged. The plasma sword came to life, humming with deadly power. Target locked. The AI inside Goliath said. Raven gripped the controls. Let's end this. Goliath ran forward. Earth trembled under each step. Zarketh drones rushed to stop it, but Goliath moved like a storm. Its arms swung wide, smashing the enemies into the dust. Then the queen jumped. She struck with her claws, fast and deadly. Goliath blocked with his left arm. The metal groaned, but held. Raven fired both shoulder cannons. Red beams blasted into. The queen sighed. She roared and pushed Goliath back. From the ground, Goliath saw the clash. Goliath's holding her off, she said. Now's our chance? She raised her hand. All squads, advance. Clear the field. Don't let any drones reach the civilians. Human soldiers charged, joined by Thalarian warriors. Plasma rifles and energy bows fired together. Drones fell. One by one. This was not just Earth's fight anymore. It was everyone's. High above, Admiral Drake watched the battle closely. Status of Goliath? He asked. 50% armor remaining, said the officer. Power core stable. Drake frowned. He needs backup. Send in drone bombers. Target the Queen's wings. Yes, sir. Back on the moon, the sky filled with new Earth drones. Fast. Small and packed with explosives. They dove straight toward the Queen. Boom. Boom, boom. Her wings burned. She screamed again, this time in pain. Raven took the chance. He charged, raised the plasma sword, and sliced through her left arm. The Queen stumbled, but she wasn't finished. With a sudden burst of energy, she struck Goliath's chest. The armor cracked. Warnings flashed in the cockpit. Core shield at 40%, the AI said. Raven gritted his teeth. We've come too far to fail now. Commander Arya and her team pushed through the battlefield. It reached the last group of Zarketh drones protecting the Queen's legs. Arya fired her rifle, taking down 3 in a row. Then she saw a Thalarian warrior fall. She rushed forward, blocking the next attack with her shield. Stay with me, she shouted. The warrior stood up. We stand together. Side by side, humans and Thalarians cleared the path. Raven saw the Queen preparing a final energy blast. Her mouth opened. Green fire began to grow. If that hits the fleet, he said, it's over. Looked at the final command key. Goliath, he said, open the override. Warning, the AI replied. This will destroy the core. No, Raven said, do it. Hidden compartment on Goliath's back opened, revealing the Titan core fusion bomb strong, enough to destroy a mountain. Raven aimed at the Queen. Let's finish this. From orbit, Admiral Drake saw the glowing light rise from the battlefield. He's activating the Titan core. The officer said, Sir, it's a suicide move. Drake closed his eyes for a moment, knew the risk. Goliath charged. The Queen screamed and released her energy blast, but Goliath ran through it. The armor burned. Systems failed. But Raven didn't stop. Goodbye, monster, he whispered. And then boom. A light brighter than any sun lit the battlefield. The shockwave swept across the moon, dust rose like a wall. Every Zarketh drone stopped and fell dead. The Queen was gone. Goliath was gone. But the war was won. Silence followed, and slowly cheering began. From the ground, from the ships, from every Thalirian city, voices rose in victory. Commander Arya stood among her team, tears in her eyes. He did it. Above, Admiral Drake gave a single order: send the message to the galaxy. Message broadcast across all channels, to all known civilizations. The Zarkith swarm has been defeated. Earth stood for Thalera when no one else. Did we lost brave men and women, but we saved a world? If another threat rises, no, this Earth will answer, and we won't come alone. Weeks later, the people of Thalera held a grand ceremony. Earth's flag stood beside the Thalirian sun banner. Statues were built, one of Goliath and another of Raven, standing tall with a sword in hand. High Priestess Luma spoke to the crowd. They came from far away. They brought fire and steel. But they also brought hope. Admiral Drake returned to Earth a hero. But he never smiled much after that. He always looked at the stars, waiting, because he knew there would always be another call, and Earth would be ready.